Who's in the wrong? It's your daughter's chair. She owns it, and she can decide who sits in it. You nephew needs to be taught to respect other people's property is all. Your sister needs to learn to parent her child. No means no. That applies to personal belongings also. Wrong sub for me to say this, but you and your daughter are NTA. It's not that big of deal for a 5-year-old to not sit in a certain chair. My sister said it wouldn't have hurt my daughter to let him sit in her chair. Conversely, it wouldn't have hurt her son to abide by your daughter's request. Forgetting if your daughter has autism or not, she got up from her chair to get a snack and returned having you nephew stole her spot. And here I think the real issue is your nephew crying to his mom long after the issue occurred. You're fine. She needs to know how to set boundaries. Nephew needs to know how to respect boundaries. Your sister seems to be a bit of a person. If someone messed around or even touched one of the things in my home that I use as a coping mechanism or a stim, then I would be abso-bloody-lutely livid. I've worked hard to set things up in a way that makes sense to me. And I shouldn't have to justify that to anyone else. Even my boyfriend understands that I have things the way they are for a reason. Even if he doesn't understand. And I can't explain those reasons. Your daughter bought something with her own money. Something that she uses to help herself feel safe and secure. It's not just that it's a chair. It's that it's a personal, safe space that she is able to control. It's hard being autistic. Having to function in a world that doesn't make sense. Full of contradictions and confusions. That's why a lot of neurodivergent people cling onto the aspects of life that they can control. If she lets someone sit in that chair, then she is expressing absolute trust in them to not mess up. One of the few things that she has control over. This can be hard for neurotypical people to understand, and for neurodivergent people to explain. But it's absolutely valid. She didn't want someone she doesn't trust to interfere with her space. And your sister needs to educate her child to understand that sometimes people will say no. Think about it like this. If instead of a chair it had been a support dog, perhaps a guide dog for a blind or deaf person, those dogs are not pets. They are working animals doing a job. We teach children not to pay or stroke them without asking permission. And to expect people to say no, because the dog is at work. I know this isn't am I the asshole? But both you and your daughter are absolutely not the asshole. This is all down to terrible parenting from your sister. Sorry for the essay. I got a little carried away. Autistic or not, kids shouldn't be forced to share something they're using, especially if they bought it themselves. Woman shrugging, medium light skin tone. No one is really in the wrong. It probably wouldn't have hurt your daughter to let him sit in the chair. But she paid for the chair, and so is hers to do with it as she pleases. No means no. Kids ought to learn that young. Your sister. Your sister is correct, but not right. She should have explained to your nephew that the chair is very personal and special to your daughter, and she is simply very protective of it because it's important to her. Her chair, her rules. No means no. You are definitely not in the wrong. You are teaching and supporting your daughter that what's hers is hers. How can anyone expect their children to respect other people's property if they don't witness their own property respected in the first place? It doesn't matter if she's autistic. That have nothing to do with it. It's her chair, and if she doesn't want him in it, then that's the end of it. Your sister needs to learn about personal space and belongings. Heard it or not, the chair belongs to your daughter, and she expressed that he not sit in her chair. Her wishes are simple and easy to respect. This would probably be better posted in r, Am I the Asshole? On that note, NTA. Autistic or not, that's her chair and she shouldn't have to share it with anyone. She saved her money and bought a chair she wanted. Your sister needs to teach her child that even if he asks politely, he can still be told no. I don't know a lot about autism, but my only thought was maybe it would be good to encourage your daughter to share if and when she feels comfortable. But otherwise it's her chair, so her rules. And the nephew needs to accept no as an answer. I can see both sides of this situation. I can see the side of your sister because she is dealing with a 5-year-old who she is at that stage with him of teaching him to share and teaching him manners when his friends come to play at his house. I'm sure by not sharing her new chair with him was very confusing to him because that flew right in the face of everything a 5-year-old is being taught at this stage in his little life. I'm sure your sister is working with him about sharing his toys and things when he has play dates over at his house and how to be a gracious host in his home with his friends. I'm sure this behavior went counter to what he is being taught, and at 5 the concept of autism and her disabilities is probably way over his ability to understand. But on the other side of the coin, this was a good opportunity to explain her disability and explain that normally we do share our things, but under these circumstances we need to respect her feelings of not sharing. I'm not saying this wasn't done. I hope it was. But it sounds like when your sister got there he still didn't understand why he wasn't allowed to rock in the new rocking chair, and maybe it should have been explained again, and as a guest in your home he did deserve an apology for not sharing something that normally would have been shared with a guest. Yes, your daughter paid for it and it is hers, and she has every right to tell him no in a very polite way, and she did, but he is only 5, and unless he was out and out bratty, give him some time to understand the situation. But your daughter was absolutely in the right not to allow him in her chair if that was her wish. But avoiding hurt feelings is the important here with a 5-year-old. But yay, your sister knows the situation, she should understand, and she should have explained your daughter's disability to him again to back you up.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.